Hey, there you go, Damon.
All right, everyone. It is Friday, and you know what that means. It is time for Manufacturing E-commerce Success, and I am Damon Pistolka, one of the co-hosts. We are so excited today because we're going to be talking today unstoppable marketing strategy with TK Kader here today. I am so excited. I can't even talk right. I'm going to turn it over to my friend Kurt Anderson right over there, co-host with the most and the best hair in the house. Take it away, Kurt.
Damon, thank you, dude. Happy Friday, everybody. So, man, what an honor. What a privilege. We've got TK Kader in the house. TK, happy Friday. How are you, dude?
Happy Friday, guys. I'm so pumped to be here. And I love the energy. So thank you for having me on this Friday.
Man, I tell you, Damon, this is a privilege, and I have TK. He doesn't even know this. So we're new to each other, but like here, he's right here on my phone. I've got the accelerator, the Unstoppable Life Accelerator is right here in my phone. It's right. I'm with TK all the time. So guys, do us a favor, drop a note in the chat box. Let us know where you're coming from. You want to connect with TK on LinkedIn or any of his socials. We're going to be showing some examples. So TK, you are just a fierce entrepreneur, software guy, all about the SaaS. We're going to dive into that. Before we get into all the magic that you're performing today, I'm going to go back in time a little bit.
Okay.
TK, when you're a little guy growing up, just a little guy, when you're a little guy growing up, who was your hero? Who did you look up to, respect, admire? Who just showered you with unconditional love? Who was your hero?
Yeah. Oh, man. I would say my dad. Honestly, my dad was an entrepreneur. He moved to this country when he was 40 with me, my brother, and my mom, and started a company. And which is kind of insane because I'm 41 right now, and it's like me moving to China right now, like a totally different environment with my family, and and starting a family. And so I always admired him for that. He's always been a really positive influence in my life, and he showed me that you can dream big and go after it.
Right.
And that honestly, that inspired me to become an entrepreneur myself. I would not do anything else at all. So that's how it started. And then as I got older, I'd say it was Iron Man for the longest time. Every kid has like the superhero, like he can code and he can fight crime, and he's like super cool. And as I've gotten older, this is an important distinction. I've started to realize that I actually want to be Tony Stark and not Iron Man.
Yeah, you're right.
Important distinction. Tony Stark's life is way more fun. So
right.
Yeah, so it's all over time.
Got all the toy. I couldn't agree with you more. What a great. So let's circle back to Dad. Dad's name, please.
Ken Kader.
Ken Kader. And what was his business?
He was one of the early guys that started the prepaid calling card industry.
Oh, no kidding.
Wow.
Yeah, early 90s for the South Asian population. So we immigrated to New York City. And so he was one of the first folks that started a prepaid calling card business. Before it got really weird, he was one of the pioneers to just help people call back home at affordable rates, which was really hard to do at that time.
Yeah. I tell you, that is so, and it's no surprise that you have a business unstoppable. Damon, I mean, just think of the courage that it takes to leave a country, come to another country. You're going to go to New York City and start a business with your kids and your wife, and just how admirable. So TK, give Dad a big shout out from us, and just how what an inspiration he is, and how like it's just in your DNA, so you can't even help yourself. So let's go here. I believe you're RPI grad, if I have that correct, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And so afterwards, you start a little software company. You're at Bridgewater, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right.
And then you end up with a little software company. Tell us a little bit about your journey. How did you know that you were going to be an entrepreneur? Why'd you get into the SaaS? Let's hear about your early passion.
Yeah, I just love computers. I learned how to code when I was 10 years old. And I remember like at around age 14, I built a piece of software and I burned it on a CD. It was like a custom software that did something very specific for one of my dad's clients.
Yeah.
And I sold it to him for $40. I'm like, do you want this? He's like, yeah, absolutely. I want this. I'm like, cool, $40. And gave me two $20 bills. And I was hooked. Like that was the first time I realized I could code something, and then people wanted it. Like people would pay for it.
Right.
And I think ever since then I was hooked. Ever since then, I just all I really wanted to do was create really great products that people love. And that ended up becoming my career. And fast forward to today, like I still do that.
Yeah.
And I think like it's an important distinction where I don't like just creating products. Every product that I've been blessed with being able to create, I've had people write in saying, man, I love this thing. And love is a weird word for a piece of software, but that's the bar.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a huge difference between just creating software and creating software that people just love. And that's when I was hooked.
Well, I love, so avid follower, big fan of yours, and you constantly say nobody wants software.
Yeah.
They just want solutions. Nobody wants software. And I think that's such a brilliant line. And again, it could be anybody out there, whatever, your entrepreneurial journey is, the solution that you provide, do they really want that product or that widget, or like, I just need a solution. I have a problem I'm trying to solve. Let's dive into, I don't know if you were in college when you got your first business, started, but lead us up to ToutApp. And I'd love for you to share what is ToutApp and what problem were you solving then?
Yeah. So ToutApp started around 2010. So like 14 years ago. That was one of my first big businesses that I created. It was super simple when it started. It was the idea that in order to go create a lead or generate opportunities, you got to email someone. Before it was just cold calling or just waiting for someone to come in. But the fact that you could cold email someone was still relatively new. The problem was if you cold email someone once, you can't really turn that into a real opportunity. You got to do like 7 touches and you got to follow up. And so that's what ToutApp was. It created software for salespeople where it would say, cool, if you want to go cold email this person, you should do a cold email. And then it evolved over time to, you should also cold call them. You should connect with them on LinkedIn. And here's a whole plan on how to really, really pursue someone to turn them into a real prospect and an opportunity. And ToutApp was one of the first pieces of software that helped you streamline all of that. And it started in my second bedroom. I kind of put it out there as an engineer, and then it grew to about 100,000 salespeople on the platform. We raised venture capital from Andreessen Horowitz. We grew the company, and then we sold it to a market leader called Marketo. So that was kind of like one of my first wins in software.
Right. And for friends out there, Marketo is part of Adobe. Is that correct?
Yeah. When I sold the company, I thought I was done. I'm like, cool, I'm going to see you guys later. But they were like, look, we're turning around the company that just gone private. They were a public company. They went private. They added us onto their platform. And so they added me to the executive team, and we did a 2-year transformation there. A lot of fun stories from that. And then we sold that to Adobe. And that was a really cool experience to get that double win from that.
Right.
Journey.
Yeah. Oh, very cool.
Gosh, that is, 2 birds with 1 stone, my friend. That was what a great win. If you could go back in time to ToutApp, I'd love to hear when did you finally realize, like, the tipping point where, like, struggling, scrappy entrepreneur to you're like, hey, we're onto something here. We've got momentum. We've got revenue. We've got traction. Like, do you remember that point?
Yeah. It was kind of crazy because I was actually working on a different product on my nights and weekends. I still had a day job, and I'm like, this thing's going to be huge. But in order to generate like sales for that product, I'm like, I got to email people and get it moving. And I hated doing that. So I created ToutApp over the weekend to like be able to sell that first product.
Yeah.
And so, but then I'm like, well, if I'm going to build it, might as well put it out there. So I just put it out there, and almost overnight it took off. Obviously it's never overnight. It's because I worked on that product and learned how to do sales and market. Like I was grinding it on that product, and I just copy pasted, changed the name, and created this new product, but everything else was the same. That's why it took off so quickly. And even then I was like, I don't know, this thing seems like a toy. Like this other thing is way more complicated. It's going to be huge. The moment I realized that I should probably shut down everything else and just double down on Tout it was like one day I rigged my phone where every single time someone swiped their credit card, it would make a cash register noise. It would like be a text message from, it said Mr. Moneybags, and it would make a cash register noise.
That's awesome.
And there was one day where that thing would not shut up. It was just like cranking, because all the upgrade flows were built and people were just like doing the trial, swiping the credit card. And I looked at it and there was like $864 that was like getting transferred to my account that day alone. And I think that was the moment I'm like, oh my God, that's insane.
Yeah.
And so I realized that a lot of times we think that it's going to be this huge complicated thing that people want. Sometimes it's the simplest thing, but it solves such an important and urgent problem.
Yeah.
It changes, the people are like, you'll know when you're selling something that people love and they want, and then they will hunt you down and pay you for it. And that's when I realized I got to double down on it.
Man, good for you. I tell you, I love it. And so again, folks, chiming in, follow TK on LinkedIn, go to his YouTube channel, tens of thousands of followers on YouTube, enormous amount, hundreds of videos. TK, you come out with a video every single Sunday. I want to give everybody just like a little taste of your expertise and like how you've built these multiple, as a serial entrepreneur, multiple companies. And, I'm one of your students. I'll give you a raving testimonial. You're an amazing coach, guide, resource, mentor, Sherpa, whatever you want to refer to yourself as. You talk about a thing called the thing about the thing.
Yeah.
Just can you enlighten folks? Say, Damon, we run a lot of people trying to be a little bit of everything to everybody. I bend metal, I cut steel, or like whatever product I produce. And like, well, I could sell to anybody. TK, can you talk a little bit about the thing, if you would?
Yeah, the thing about the thing, this is a phrase that I learned during my time at Bridgewater. Bridgewater is the largest hedge fund in the world. They have a very unique culture. And they have a whole bunch of things that they teach you that is fairly different than anything else. And one of the things they always talked about is the thing about the thing, meaning no one cares about this one thing. They care about the thing about the thing. So the thing I always say in my YouTube videos is no one wakes up in the morning, none of us, and is like, I really want to buy some software today. Like no one wants that. However, they do wake up and they think about like, man, I really need to figure out how do I win more deals, or how do I get more leads, or how do I increase my AOV, or increase my conversion rate. Like that's what they think about. That is the thing about the thing. That's the result that they want. Now, will they buy software in order to solve that? Sure. Will they hire someone to solve that? Sure. That's the thing. So with entrepreneurs, we are artists in a way. And so we get obsessed about the thing we created. And sometimes we forget the thing about the thing, which is what our customers actually care about. So having a distinction between the two just makes you a better entrepreneur and makes you more successful, because you realize what your customers actually want, and the vehicle you use, or the tool that you use, or the service or the product that you use to deliver that. And there's a difference between that.
Yeah. I just love that. Damon, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, we get so tied up, like you said, we're artists. We, whether you're making a physical product or a software product, you go, this is awesome. It's so great. Look at how it works, how efficient it is. And at the end of the day, someone goes, you mean that turns my lights on and off automatically? And you just would spend, 3 months developing this thing. And you're like, yeah, it does. But it does all this. You're like, yeah, that's cool. So that is, you're buying that result, buying that solution, buying the easier lifestyle, or whatever it is that you're buying.
It's one of the reasons why dead artists have more valuable artwork. Like as artists, we value our art more but when we're dead, there's no more, and people, it gets marketed differently. You'll never get more. So the value goes up. Same with entrepreneurs, same with business owners. It's the same thing. When we get out of our way of what we care about and think about what the customers care about, it changes the game. But if I say that, it's like, sounds obvious. And I'm like, oh, of course I care about what my customers think about. But when you phrase it as what's the thing about the thing, it rewires your brain to think about it in a dramatically different way. It's like a pattern interrupt to think about like how do I get you to stop thinking that you know everything to like, wait, hang on, what is the thing about the thing? It's like,
Right.
so it's a trick. It's a trick that I use when I'm coaching folks or teaching folks, or even myself, to like reframe how we think about our business.
Yeah, I love that. And again, check out TK's videos, go to his YouTube channel, and he does a deep dive, walks you exactly through it. And I don't care what space you're in, that little exercise is so powerful. TK, I want to slide in here back to, trying to be everything to everybody. We end up being nothing to no one, jack of all trades, master of none. Another thing that I really admired that you preach is the ICP, the ideal customer profile. Just share a little bit for folks and like how that's been so critical for your success, like just really laser focusing on who that ideal customer is that you're targeting.
Yeah. The idea behind the ideal customer profile is for every business, there's two things. There's your total addressable market. That's everyone that could potentially buy your product at some point. That is a very large circle. Within that is a very small segment we call the ideal customer profile. That is the set of people that are most likely to buy in the short term. Let's just say you're at $1 in revenues and you want to get to $100. Like, who are the people that are going to get you to 100? And almost always that set of people are very different than the total addressable market. And that's when you think about it in that way, you're not saying your idea is so small. You're not saying your market's so small. You're just saying like, look, just to get to my next revenue, which part of this total market is more likely to buy, where I can really communicate to them, I can reach them, I can differentiate myself, and I can give a compelling alternative to what their default is. And that's what we call an ideal customer profile. It's what is that next stage?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love this. And so again, for entrepreneurs out there that are, challenged, struggling, trying to, not strong on, Damon, we encounter a lot of folks that are challenged with marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Your videos are just spot on just really getting down to the basics. Another line that I've shamelessly, just completely unapologetically borrowed from you is, how do you out teach the competition? I believe that's a line of yours, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
Yeah, I learned that from Jason Fried of 37 Signals, and yeah, exactly. That's right.
I just told Dave, I'm like, it's in that book, but I'll tell you, you've really done a great job of preaching that, though.
Yeah, well, I learned it, and it served me so well. I learned it probably like 20 years ago from Jason, and I've just practiced it. And you were asking me before, like, hey, like, when did you get into the content game? I'm like, I never really thought about being in the content game. I was taught just teach people what you know, share the journey, and lots of good things happen. So before I started my YouTube channel, which now has 400 episodes, over 400.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I blogged. So I have a blog that I blogged before I started my YouTube channel. So I used to write down my yearly reflections and what I learned from scaling my company. And even before that, I shared like, hey, I was working on a landing page. Here's what I learned. I learned is if you can teach people, if you can serve your ideal customers, they're going to buy from you. It's the best form of marketing. So that's what I've always believed. That's what I was taught, and that served me well. So I'm a big believer of, if you have competition and you're targeting an ideal customer profile, if you can serve them, if you can teach them, they're more likely to buy from you than the competition, even if you charge more. And that's served me really well. And that's a core tenet of what I teach in my videos and when I coach founders as well.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, if you don't mind, what I'd like to do is I'm going to take a little peek at your YouTube channel for everybody here.
Yeah.
So, and I'm showing this for a couple of reasons. Number one, strongly encouraging folks to follow you. You have all sorts of courses that people can take. You have a community that people can join. But I also want to just, I'm showing this for, any entrepreneur could really go this direction. Just talk a little bit about, your process, your concept of like how you're just relentlessly putting out all this content.
So I will say YouTube is probably like the hardest for content. I think like posting on LinkedIn is one of the most approachable things you can do if you want to put content out there. Going on Twitter is one of the more approachable things. Blogging is slightly more involved, but still approachable. YouTube is long form content. And so, each of the videos are 16 minutes, upwards of 34 minutes. And there's a sweet spot there. And in order to create a 16-minute video, and I've put one out religiously every Sunday for the last 5 years. And to put that out, it takes about 1 day of work for me and about 5 days of work for the team that I have.
Is that right?
Yeah. And it's not what you would think. It's not crazy editing, although we put a lot of effort into our editing. It's not crazy graphics, but it's just creating the content where it really serves the audience. And so for me, Tuesdays are my filming days, and that day starts at 7 a.m. with my production team. And then I go, and it takes an entire day to film that 14-minute video. Now, obviously, the filming itself is not that long. That takes probably, like, if it's a 14-minute video, probably 22 minutes. But the work that goes to what I say during those 22 minutes takes the full day to really prep for, on top of the prep work that my production team has already done. And I hear from people all the time, they're like, I can't believe you're giving this much away for free. And our view has always been like, well, we want to put out incredible content. We want you to make money on the free content, and then come join our community, our course, our program, coaching, whatever you like, with that money to get even more. Because I tell them, like, we have such a high bar for our free content. Imagine how good the paid tier is.
Yeah.
That's literally how we position it. Because otherwise no one wants shitty free content. Like, it's like, no one's going to buy from you if you're like, oh, this is the free, so you got to pay for the good stuff. This is the shitty. It's like, no, It's so incredible and free.
Yeah.
And we've had people, you really can't make this up, because we do it this way, because we hold such a high bar, because we take a full day, even for me, to film one episode. We've had people that have wired us money. They're literally like, I have made so much money just from your free stuff. I just need to wire you money. Like, sign me up for whatever program. I don't care. I'm good. I just need to send you money. And like, you can't make that stuff up. Like, honestly.
Yeah.
And so content, I think we're in a place right now where everyone wants to be like, oh, I want to create content. It's like, no one wants to consume your content. They really want to learn. So if you're going to do it, come from a place of service and really, really serve your audience, and the rest sorts itself out.
Yeah. Yeah. That's where like you said, really understanding your ICP today and serving them with great education.
Yeah. Yeah.
And here's the IC, and there's multiple, but again, check out the volume of these views here, TK, tens of thousands of views per video. And, and again, I'm one of these guys. I probably followed you for a year, every Sunday, I'm like, hey, where's TK? Here he is, coming out with new information, and just absolutely love it. You have a contagious enthusiasm, wonderful tips and strategies for folks, just giving it away. And finally, I'm like, hey man, I gotta be a part of this, and then pulled the trigger. I want more and invest in your expertise. So again, I personally, this was a great opportunity for me to thank you for what you've done for us and for our business. So this is great. I saw your book down here. I want to give a little shout out to here it is right there. How does somebody punch Sunday in the face? Can you just
yeah.
How does somebody go about punching Sunday in the face? I love that title.
Yeah. So after we sold Marketo to Adobe, I took a little bit of time off. I'm like, I don't really know what I'm going to do next. I knew I wanted to start a software company, but I didn't have an idea. And I was like kind of dabbling around. So one of the things I did is I wrote a book. And I wrote a book not about business, but I wrote a book about the personal side of being an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
And in the spectrum of me being an entrepreneur, from when I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but had a job and I hadn't quite quit and went cold turkey and started a company, all the way to when I raised $15 million from the best venture capital firm in the world and we were scaling our company. there was this underlying thing of the only way my business is going to succeed is if I run my personal life effectively. And when you are not running your personal life effectively, a bunch of things happen. Like you burn out, you get this pit in your stomach on a Sunday afternoon. It's scientifically proven. It's the transition into the work week that creates a lot of anxiety for people. And that's what's called the Sunday jitters. And we all get it, even if we love our jobs. And what I found was the years where I really took care of my personal life, my business did better. The years where I neglected it, my business did not do well. And in a world of hustle culture and grind culture, I think that message of you got to just like run yourself as a professional athlete and be effective and get your mindset right. That will allow you to be successful as an entrepreneur was lost. And so that's why I wrote the book. It's not a long book. It's a very tactical book you can finish reading fairly quickly. And what you can do is learn essentially how to run your personal life as well as some of the pro CEOs that are out there. It's some actionable tactics that you can follow. Yeah. And I follow this myself. And one of the biggest things, even now, like I coach over 500 founders personally, globally, they'll get a lot of success and they'll come back to me and they're like, hey man, I'm like getting burnt out, or like, I thought there would be a boom. Like I did all this stuff and I thought like I'd feel amazing, but I don't. And I'm like, so you're telling me you're successful, but you're unhappy. And so one of the biggest things that we teach people is we call this thing the Unstoppable Sunday. And the Unstoppable Sunday is this 15-minute practice that we teach people to do every Sunday, just as a mental trick to get focused on what went well, what didn't go well, what do I do next? It's a very structured way of doing it. I teach that in the book. And that alone has created a lot of positive impact in the world. And our view is like, if we can help entrepreneurs and founders be effective in their personal life, they're going to create better businesses.
Yeah.
And then we're giving them all the tools to build better businesses, or at that point, they're unstoppable. So that's kind of a full end-to-end thing that we do.
Well, again, and I'm sorry to be such a little fanboy, but so I've got my little right here, Damon. So it could be a Sunday, could be whatever day. And, I'm at the gym, I'm out, the dog, I'm on a bike ride, whatever it is. And I can just pop in a little TK and just get a little.
That's awesome.
And what I love and what I admire TK is like, you give such, you're not talking the talk, you've walked the walk. You built ToutApp, you had great success, selling a company to, being part of a team for Adobe. And now you're just, sharing this expertise, sharing your passion with just with integrity and just a genuine, servant attitude, if you will. And, what I love is on top of it, like you're saying, like, hey, you can go, be unstoppable, be that relentless entrepreneur. But you also like, you have a little tip on like, hey, write your 3 things of today. And, number 3, hey, crush it, get customers, call mom, go to the gym, get a haircut, not for me, but maybe for you. But, so like you give like those little personal tips on top of like, hey, go out there and just give everything that you've got. But in the same regard, if you're not taking care of yourself, none of this is worth any of it. Right.
Yeah. And that's really cool though, because I've discovered the same thing over the years is if you don't integrate your life and your career the right way, people talk about balance, like they're one or the other. Hey, let's be honest. I mean, you were talking about it earlier, starting a company, you're working nights and weekends doing it. You can't do that. You can't be an entrepreneur really and go, oh, I turn my clock off at this time or that. But what you can do is you can learn to integrate your life and your work and really create, like you're saying, the habits that help us to put, yes, I need to make sure I'm taking care of myself. Yes, I need to make sure I'm paying attention to my family like I should, because when that goes to hell, I can't do what I'm doing at work or in my business, so.
Totally.
Yeah. So cool.
One of the things on that I've also seen is, as entrepreneurs, we are experts at moving the goalpost. So you'll set a goal and like and we are terrible to ourselves where we set a goal, we work. As we're accomplishing that goal, we've already moved the goalpost to this next thing.
Yeah.
And so, and we're so good at that. We're as good at that as accomplishing goals. So to us, we just feel like we're failures because we're constantly like, I gotta get to this. And like a lot of times, like I'll be on a coaching call. I'm like, hey, can we just talk about how you hit like 1 million ARR when that was a dream? We started working together when we were pre-revenue. We're terrible at that. And so one of the things we started doing is we now actually ship trophies when you hit certain milestones.
Nice.
Just to force you to celebrate because we're terrible at that. That's part of what makes us great entrepreneurs, but also part of what holds us back. Because if you're never celebrating, even for 5 seconds, you're not really going to be able to go the distance because you've never congratulated yourself or expressed gratitude. So I think one of the most interesting things is, talking about the mechanics of an ideal customer profile and the thing about the thing, and then also talking about the mechanics of how you think about winning and celebrating. And it's this alchemy of what makes for successful business people. So it's super fascinating when you go down the rabbit hole of that.
It is. That's really cool.
Yeah. And I think one word you're hitting on the head right there is gratitude, just really trying to be in that state of mind. Damon and I use the word, how can you be in radical gratitude? Just thank you for the challenges. Thank you for the frustrations. Thank you for the wins. Thank you for all of it, and just really, I know it's probably a lot of it's cliche. Let's dive into, you have some new and exciting products that I'd like to talk about, TK. So I'm going to pull up instantly. How's that? I'm going to pull up instantly. And here it is right here. Tell us a little bit, how are you making the world a better place with this new platform?
Yeah. As we mentioned, so a couple of things here. One, over the last 5 years, I've taken everything that I learned and I've shared videos on how to start and scale software companies. I created my coaching program on how to start a software company and another coaching program on how to scale software companies. And last year, I was 4 years in, I had coached north of 400 founders, shipped trophies. And I was like, I wonder if I could do it again. And so I started following the same training that my students go through to develop a software idea and bring it to initial revenues and then scale it. And to my surprise, last year, I came up with 2 ideas, brought both of them to revenues, and we're both now actively scaling them. So that's how this came to be. And I thought that was super important because we were talking about this, like no one wants to hire a fat trainer.
Yeah. It's so relevant.
Yeah. And so I really wanted to be able to bring a new energy to my videos and my coaching on like, listen, the thing that I'm teaching and the framework, like I just applied it. So I'm like, not uncertain about this. Like, I know this works. And it ended up being a double whammy because everything we teach, now you can use one of our software platforms to implement.
Yeah.
So one of the big things we teach is content marketing. The best ways to stand out in a market and to generate leads is to serve your audience. Biggest things people struggled with when doing content marketing is they didn't really know how to write the content. They didn't really know how to capture the leads. They didn't know how to follow up with the leads. So Instant is a content marketing platform that's AI first. So you set it up, you tell it who your ideal customer is, what you're offering, and it helps you write the content post daily, your entire team. It helps you create the landing page to capture the leads. And as the leads are flowing in, it writes the email for you on it reads the leads website, creates a personalized email on your behalf so you can follow up with the leads and turn them into meetings and revenue end to end. And because it's so incredible with AI, you get all of that starting at $49 a month, which is an incredible price point considering you'd have to hire like 3 people in a marketing team to be able to do all of this.
Right.
And on top of that, I'm an engineer first. So I went back into coding for this, not just go to market.
Oh yeah.
Again, no one wants to hire a fat trainer. And so I'm like, I'm going to go all in on this. And so I'm really excited for Instant. We're approaching our 100th customer coming on now, which is incredible. Over I think 18,000 leads generated on the platform so far using content, and it's end to end. It teaches you and runs the content for you, captures the leads, follows out, like all of it is for you end to end. And so that's what Instant is, and you can get started at $49 a month.
Nice.
Congratulations, man. This is how does it feel being back in the playing field, if you will? How's that feel?
Yeah, you know, when I decided to become a coach, I took that very seriously. Tony Robbins is the best coach in the world. And so I joined his programs. I learned how to coach. And coaching is an art form in itself. And so I learned what it takes to coach someone, because it's not just telling them what to do. Coaching is a completely different art form. And this new element of coaching plus being in the trenches challenges you in a whole different way, where, you know, I have a lot more empathy for what the founders are going through, from just like, it's one thing to coach and say, well, you really got to do this. And they're like, oh my God, I really have to do this. And you can't tell them, you have to get them to say it. That's part of coaching. But now that I'm in it also, it's a whole different dynamic of appreciation for what founders go through, because I'm in the trenches with them.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whole different appreciation on my teachings, because now it's not, I did this once, I got success, here's what you need to know and you should do it. Now it's like, I did this once, I got success, I coached 500 people on it for 5 years, and now I did it again and I'm doing it with you, and you should definitely do this.
Yeah.
And that level of energy, I'm really grateful to be able to bring to my audience, to my customers, to my clients, because that's like hard mode, I think.
Yeah.
It feels really good to be able to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. It's very cool to be able to do that, because you know, most coaches you're going to talk to are going to be, they may be a coach, but they're not in the game. And that's where you're in the game. So like you said, I just got the bumps and bruises from this. That's how I learned how to do this.
Right.
That's why I'm telling you that you want to do it this way. And I made those mistakes.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that
awesome.
was the thing. Last year, I realized my students are more successful than most coaches out there. And like most of the SaaS coaches out there, like my students are more successful than they are.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, how do I up this even more? And I'm like, well, I want to be able to do it now. So that was my thing. And instant, like, and also like, you know, the thing is, I know not everyone's in the software industry, but we're all impacted by software.
Yeah.
We are, with AI, we are in one of the biggest shifts like of our lives. It's an incredible time to just be living, but also to be in software, of what you can do. And so that alone makes it really exciting to be back in the game on building software products that it's completely different. Because it's like, you know, the pitch is different. It's like, it's not like, hey, you can use this tool to publish a landing. It's like, no, the AI will help you do these 3 things that are the hardest about content marketing. How do you publish content? How do you turn them into a lead? How do you follow up on the lead? Like, it's a different game with software now, and it's so exciting on how you sell it. So I'm really grateful to be able to do this.
Yeah. Well, then, and two, on the backside of it, even creating the code is a lot different with AI. I mean, and being able to check it and do the things that you can do. It's just like stuff that you would have to sit around and think about. How are we going to do this? What do we have to do? You can go, oh, let's get some ideas, and then we can take off, or it can do a lot of it for us.
Totally. It's, you know, I'll tell you, Damon, it was one of the weirdest things where like you're working on something and you look at the code. And right now I'm the only engineer on Instant. Megaphone, I have a co-founder and a CTO, so it's half and half. So I built all of Instant myself. And honestly, like the most jarring thing is to look at some of the code. I'm like, I don't remember writing this code.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, you know, you're writing a book. Imagine you're writing a book and you're on chapter 3, you're editing a paragraph and you're like, I didn't write this. I agree with it, but
yeah.
So it is a crazy time, even on the creation side of it as well.
Yeah. That's hysterical. So, all right, TK, let's go here. You just mentioned Megaphone. So that was a great lead in. Let's pull up. You have another company that you've launched. please share with us, what is Megaphone? How are you making the world a better place with this software tool?
Yeah. So like I said, I didn't know what next company I wanted to start. And I'm like, I'll just work with 1,000 founders, serve people, and we'll figure it out. And I ended up with 2 ideas. The end of the day, my entire career has been, how do you get people more leads in pipeline? That's what people care about the most. Like, you go to any business owner, it's like, hey man, do you want more leads in pipeline? It's like, yes. Like,
Yeah.
so, right. Like, and so turns out there are 2 big ways to get leads in pipeline today. That's different from 10 years ago when I started ToutApp. 10 years ago, the differentiated way was outbound. Today, outbound has diminishing returns. The 2 big ways, one is content, and that's what Instant is for. You can launch an instant content funnel like that in like minutes. The other way is to get your customers to introduce you to your future customers. And the thing is, people don't ask, or they'll ask once and then they'll forget. So Megaphone is a referral automation platform. It'll monitor your customers. It'll automatically email. You don't have to do anything. You just set it up. It runs on your behalf or on your sales team's behalf. It will email your customer and say, hey, do you know another person that would get value from our products and services? I pre-drafted a referral email for you. Just click on this link and you can send it out. So your customers just click that button, send it to a friend, and that friend books meetings with your sales team. And it is an incredible platform. We're seeing about a 10 to 12% referral rate from customer bases. So the bigger the customer base, the more referrals you're going to get. The referrals you get have a higher win rate. They buy more. It's incredible. Yeah. And so that's what Megaphone does. And for those of you that are like wondering, like, okay, like, is this going to work for me? If you hit that launch Megaphone button, we have an ROI calculator. So you just put in how many customers you have, what your average deal size is. It'll estimate for you how much revenue you can generate through referrals.
Nice.
So that's what Megaphone is. And I'm obviously, like, you're not allowed to have favorites with kids, but I love them both. but I'm really excited about both of them, honestly.
Well, you know what they say, TK, when it comes to your children, which one's your favorite? You always say the one with the most earning potential. And so you can look at it, Megaphone, and it's, which one has the most earning potential? Maybe that would be your favorite. But, 2 wonderful, beautiful kids here that we're looking at. So this is just super, super exciting. So as you're going through this process, through this journey, are you pulling in your community with your process and these 2 startups?
Yeah, we teach a lot around content marketing. So before we used to teach them, and now it's like, look, you can use whatever you want. You can figure it out. Here's the templates, but you hit one button and you can launch it with Instant.
Yeah.
And if you're an early stage company, Instant is the way to go because it'll get you more customers. If you are a later stage company and you're already doing everything with marketing and sales, Megaphone is the way to go because that'll get your customers to get you more customers.
Yeah.
So there are different, going back to ICP, we practice what we preach. The ICP is very specific for these 2 companies.
Yes.
Early stage companies that just don't have marketing, they're like, I need to get marketing going. Instant. Like, it is a marketing team in a box. They'll get you cranking with AI. For later stage companies, like, look, we're good, but we really need something that's going to help us pull ahead. It's like, cool, mobilize your customers. You have 5,000 customers. We won a Megaphone deal this morning. They have about 5,000 customers. And now they're going to get, every single one of them are going to get an email asking for a referral. Just imagine the math on that is insane. Yeah. So that's how we're doing it. And we share this just the same on the YouTube channel. And again, I stay true to, I'll never do a video where I'm like, you should get Megaphone. It's more like, listen, here are the different ways to grow. And you need to pick which one. Here are the 3 principles you need to know. Or if you want to do a referral system, here's the 3 principles. If you want the easy button, use Megaphone. So that's kind of how my role has evolved, where for the last 5 years, I've sort of been the framework dealer. And now I give you the framework and also the software, the easy button to launch it, which I'm really excited about. It's a lot of fun.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Cool.
Excellent. All right, as we start, and Damon said he promised to keep us on time, right? So
Yep.
I have one more share, Damon. I have one more share. So let's go. So Unstoppable, TK. Just talk a little bit about what's going on here. What can people take advantage of with your Unstoppable program?
Yeah. What we always recommend, if you run a software company, we just started a B2B program as well. And what I recommend is you watch the YouTube channel. It'll teach you how to think about the principles. 400 episodes, completely free. And then if you want to like work with us, we give you the step-by-step on how to implement everything that we teach on the channel. So all you need to do is hit that join the Legion button in the top right. And that gives you our different coaching programs that we have. If you're starting a software company, you have an idea, we have our launch challenge. If you have some revenues or you have a product built and you're getting to the next stage of growth, that's our flagship, our go-to-market program. And I work with CEOs upwards of 100 million in ARR right now. So we have our scale program for that. So we have a program, depending on the stage that you're in, where we give you the step-by-step on how to implement all the go-to-market pieces, the sales and marketing pieces to grow your company. Because that's the biggest thing holding companies back today. It's distribution. It's a noisy world out there. So that's what we teach in Unstoppable.
Wow. Awesome. Okay. It's a fantastic program. So, all right, we're going to start winding down. I want to be mindful of your time. I know you're super busy working with hundreds of entrepreneurs. TK, let's go here. Again, you had such an incredible journey, especially at such a young age. You've got a long runway ahead of you. You know, just your dedication is just so inspiring, so admirable on how you're helping just hundreds and hundreds and probably literally thousands of entrepreneurs. And I test to be one of those. What is the best business advice that you feel that you've ever received through your journey that you would love to pass along? Best business advice that you received?
Oh, that's good. If you're just starting out, like if you're like baby TK, where you have a job and you want to become an entrepreneur, a lot of times I think those folks focus on ideas. They're looking for that great idea. And the biggest advice I ever got that I give every single time when I'm meeting the baby entrepreneurs or the aspiring entrepreneurs is stop focusing on ideas and choose the problem you want to solve. That little shift, as soon as you shift it to like, what's the problem I'm solving that people have that's urgent and important, it changes the game for you. So that's what I would say to the baby entrepreneurs, the ones that are aspiring. Like, 20 years ago, it was a dream for me to even start a company. For those of you that are in it, that are growing, you've got successful businesses or you're going through the twists and turns, there's ups and downs of every business. The biggest advice that I got is to find some form of gratitude. I think that, as I was talking about earlier, it's really easy to be stressing out about the next milestone. And the reality is, if the baby entrepreneur version of you, like let's just say 5 years ago or 10 years ago, if they ran into you on the street and struck up a conversation with you today, they would be at awe of what your day-to-day looks like. So here you are obsessing about who you want to be 5 years from now. And as you should be, it's the minute you think about you from 5 years ago, meeting you today, they'd be so proud of you. They'd be like, I want to be that guy. They want to be like, how do I take you to dinner? Like, tell me everything. And it's easy for people to forget that. That's why we're who we are. That we are high achievers. We want to get that next goal. That's why we do what we do. That's why we're great at what we do. We want to go out there and slay. But we won't be able to do that if we don't have some grace, if we don't have some gratitude. And that's the greatest piece of advice I got is for a scaling entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Man, dude, drop the mic right there, TK. That was, that was phenomenal. All right. So as we wind down, first off, I want to give a huge, huge, huge thank you to you, TK. I do, you know what? I know we're like way over time. I'm sneaking in one more question for you, Damon. I'm sneaking in one more question for our friend here.
All right.
TK, I know you're in Dallas. By chance, are you a baseball fan by any chance?
I love baseball. Yeah.
You love baseball. Excellent. Okay. Are you Rangers? Who's your team?
I was just at a Rangers game. I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest follower of sports, but I love going to sporting events.
Yeah.
There you go.
Like as long as it's live, I'm good. I never watch it on TV. So if there's a baseball quiz, I'm going to fail. I'll tell you right now.
So, all right, well, here we go. Let's see how you're doing this quiz. You ready? So, all right, the Rangers are playing the dreaded, let's say they hate the Yankees. Everybody hates the Yankees. They're playing the Yankees. It's a tie score, bottom of the ninth, okay? Rangers playing the Yankees, tie score, bottom of the ninth. There's a guy on second base. Tie score, the manager, like they need a win right now. So the manager turns down the bench and says, TK, Kader, grab your helmet, grab your bat, get up to the plate, hit into this winning run. Okay, you with me?
Yeah.
As you grab your helmet, grab the bat, you walk up to the plate. What is your walk-up song?
Oh man. So I'm playing for the Rangers.
Yeah.
Whoever. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it would be Drake's "Starting from the Bottom," and here we are now.
All right.
And I'll use that to straight to like, look, we're on a very tense situation, but look, man, this is awesome. I'm about to go put the Yankees out of business. Fuck yeah, let's go.
Let's do it. So, hey, awesome answer, man. Thank you for playing.
It's probably a family-friendly show, but yeah.
Thank you for playing our little game there. So that was a great answer, man. Dave, you got it, Damon?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Let's hear it.
Let's get it going here.
All right. So anyway, TK, thank you. Hey, there it is. There's your song right there.
Thank you, guys. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, all right, we'll wind down. So first off, how about a big round of applause for our wonderful guest today, TK.
Thank you so much.
I can't express my thanks, my gratitude to you, and just thank you for just absolutely smashing a home run for us today. And you know what, Damon, we're just going to close this thing out, and I'll pass it off to you. But hey, TK, what we'd love to share with everybody, go out and be someone's inspiration, just like TK is for just thousands of folks out there. And you're just going to make the world a better place, just like TK is. So, TK, hang out with us for 1 minute. Thank you. Damon, why don't you take it away, my friend?
All right, everyone. Well, it's awesome having you here with us today, TK. Love the insight. Love the fact that you are helping people, but you are in the trenches with your own businesses so you can help those coaching clients even better. And there's a lot of valuable information in this show. So go back. If you got in late, go back to the beginning, start over, and you're going to learn a lot of good stuff in what we talked about today. Thanks everyone for being here today. We'll be back again next week. Bye for now.